In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a wristlet keychain using our silicone beads and everything you will need to get started. I do offer all of these supplies and beads, so if you guys are interested in getting started, I do have them all listed on my site, which is linked on my profile, or you could go directly to my site, which is posysagedesignco.com. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you everything you need to make a wristlet keychain. First, you will need a pair of scissors. You will need a pair of needle nose pliers. These are not 100% necessary, but I definitely recommend. You will need a lighter. Doesn't have to be a torch lighter, can be any kind of lighter. And then you will need something called a loop turner. This is going to help you get your beads onto your string very easily. Next, you will need a darning needle. This is just a blunt tip needle that will help you weave in your string. And then you will need some nylon string. This is not stretchy string. This is just nylon. This is 2mm and I offer it in black and white. And next you will need a pair of knot grippers. These are going to help you get your wristlet tight. Ignore how beat up mine are. Yours won't be beat up, I promise. I will show you how to use these. Again, these are not 100% necessary, but they're definitely recommended. And then, of course, you will need some beads and you will need a key ring. I like to use about 20 beads on my wristlet. Sometimes I use 21 depending on the pattern. It is totally up to you how big or small you want to make them. Most people do make them about 20 beads, which is kind of like the average size, but you can definitely make them bigger or smaller depending on your customer. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we are going to cut our string. I like to cut my string at about 35 inches for a wristlet. So we're just going to grab our measure and we are going to measure that. Okay, we have our string cut. Now we're just going to put that to the side for a second and we're going to grab our loop turner. So this is going to help you get your beads onto your string so you don't have to do them by hand. So the next step is going to be to put your beads on here in whatever pattern you want to. So I like to do a couple different patterns. This one is, I like to call like a color block. And then this one I just kind of choose 4 colors because 5 times 4 is 20, so it makes it easy, or you can double up the colors. So I just go back and forth. So that's one pattern I like to use. That one's probably my favorite. And then this is my second favorite. And then you guys can add these if you would like. These are rhinestone spacers, and these are the ones with the wide holes, so they do fit on the loop turners. Next, I'm gonna do brown. Then I'm gonna put another wide hole rhinestone. Next, we're gonna do our turquoise. And then another wide hole. So if you see my pattern here, and I'm just doing 5, 10, 15, 20, and then each 5 I'm putting a rhinestone on it, but you can do whatever pattern you want. So as you can see, this loop turner is full. This is our long loop turner. What I like to do is take our short one as well and go ahead and finish off the design. That way it's all ready to go when I get ready to put it on the string. But if you only have one, you can definitely put this on the string first and then rebead it with this one. Now we have our beads on our loop turner. It is time to put them on the string. So I'm going to grab the end of my string, and on the loop turner is like a little hook right here, and it has a little open and closer thing. So we're going to open that, and most of the time it opens for you. Now here's the trick. If you try to put like it on the hook with the string, there's too much hanging off, it's going to be hard for you to push it on. So a good tip to remember is to do it at the end. Just leave like half an inch or an inch. That way it's not too hard to get it on. So you're going to hook it, and then a lot of the time your bead is just going to push that thing closed. If not, you can do it by hand. And now we're just going to push the beads onto the string. Okay, so we got those on there, and now we can go ahead and put the other ones on. So we're going to hook it, and then it should close. See, it didn't close for me there. So I'm just going to boop, flop it closed, push that on, easy peasy. All right, now we have all of our beads on our string, and what you're going to want to do next, if you're using rhinestone spacers, you don't want to tie off next to a spacer because it's just going to mess it up and it's not going to tie right. So what I like to do is take off the spacer plus 1 bead next to it. I'm going to take that bead off, and I'm going to grab my loop turner, and I'm going to put it on my loop turner just the way I took it off. So you want the spacer to come off first. So we are going to put it on the other side, and it's not going to change the pattern. It's just going to put it on the other side. So the pattern will still be the same. All right, and now the next step is going to be your key ring. when you start making these things, trust me, you are going to forget this. I hope you don't, but you're going to forget this at some point. So I like to put my string through the big one. You can put it through the small if you like. It's really a personal preference, but I like the big one. Okay, so now we're going to tie it, and we're just going to do a regular tie like you're about to tie your shoes. So we're just going to cross it and just kind of pull it just a little bit. Now, this step, what I was saying earlier about the knot grippers, you don't absolutely need these. These are going to make it super easy, and it's going to get your wristlets really tight. A lot of problems that people have is that their wristlets are too loose. These are going to help with that. So if you don't have them, that's okay though. You can just tighten it with your hand as tight as you can get it. But we're going to show you how to use the knot grippers. So at the end of your string, about 1 inch, you are going to make a little knot. So wrap around your finger, pull it through the circle you made, and boom, you got a little knot. Same thing to the other side. Wrap around your finger, it makes a little loop, and then push that through there. And then you're going to take your knot grippers. Again, ignore mine. Mine got beat up. Yours will not look like this. You are going to take this string, and you want the knot to be at the end of the slit here. So we're going to push that in. It's at the end of the string. Same with the other side. Push it in. Now, the important part with these knot grippers, so they don't slip, is you're going to wrap it around at least one more time and put that string in the slit again. And my string's a little bit longer, which I like to give a little bit more string in case I need to cut it or anything. So I wrapped it around twice, and now you're just going to pull, and it's going to tighten up the wristlet really good for you. And you can make it as tight as you want. It's really up to you. If you want it to be a little looser or tighter, it's really up to you. So now that I've tightened that, you have to be careful at this stage because you only have that one knot on there, and that can come undone, especially since this wire is slippery. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your wristlet down gently. You're going to hold the string as you take the knot grippers off so that you don't move the wristlet. And sometimes it can get stuck depending on how tight you pull your string. Okay, now next you need to make another knot. So you're just going to do the same thing. And this knot is going to secure the wristlet. So we're going to make another knot. We're going to put our knot grippers back on. We're going to wrap it around, put it back inside that slit, and pull tight. Okay, now that you have your second knot, you don't have to worry about moving it around as much. You can just pull these off, but I make a habit of doing it, so I'm still going to hold my string. And there we have it. That's our second knot. Now at this point, this is where I get a lot of questions. People say, well, how do you hide the string? It's pretty simple, so let me show you how. So next step, you can either choose to cut off these knots or you can keep them. It will go through no matter what, but it'll be a little tougher. So I'm going to cut those off. So to hide these strings, you want one string to go this way and one string to go this way. We're going to grab our blunt tip darning needle, and we are going to put our string in there. And then I want this one to go that way. It doesn't really matter which one goes which way, as long as they go the opposite way. And I'm going to go underneath 2 beads. So I'm going to put that in there. And this is where your needle nose pliers come into play. Again, not 100% necessary, but it definitely helps, definitely recommended. If you want to push this through by hand, that's totally up to you, but it is a little tougher. So I'm going to use my pliers. Pull that string through there. And now what you're going to do is the string you pull through, you're going to pull on it tight until the knot disappears. You want this knot to go under the bead next to it. So we're going to tug on that. See, I still see the knot, and I'm going to pull it until it's under that bead. And that is how you hide the knot. Now, next step, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I like to make my wristlets extra secure. So I'm going to wrap this around my finger. Right? Wrap it around my finger, pull the string through the wristlet, and then put the end through the wrap or the hole I just made. That way it tightens down on the string and it makes another knot. So we're going to pull that tight. And now since we just made another knot, we need to hide it. So we're going to do the same thing we just did. put it on our needle. And this time I'm going to go underneath one bead. It doesn't really matter how many you go under. I just like to space out my knots, but there's really no rule to that. I'm just going to go under one bead. I could go under two again, but since this is in the way, it'll go under here. That's the beauty of these wide hole rhinestones. Literally, this needle will go under it. But if I did, I would have to go under 3 beads because I don't like to tie it off here. And I don't really like to go under 3 beads, so we're just going to do 1. And we're going to pull that through, and we're going to pull on the string until we hide the knot. And there we go, she is hidden. So now we can cut this one off because we are done with that side. And then once you cut that off, you will take your lighter. It doesn't have to be this kind, it can be any kind of lighter, and you're going to burn the end, that way it doesn't fray. And then you're going to take your needle nose. If some of it is still sticking out, you're going to take your needle nose and you're going to push it underneath the bead. If it'll go, come on. All right, we pushed that under there, so now that is all hidden. Next, we need to take this one the opposite direction. So we're going to put it on our needle. And we're going to go underneath 2 beads, and it's going to pass through our wide hole rhinestone spacer. I make a big point to these spacers because if you're new and you go and get some spacers online, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be the ones with the tiny holes. Therefore, you have to put them on your string by hand, and your needle will not fit through them. All right, we're going to pull that tight. And on this side, you can make another knot if you want to make it super secure, but on this side, I'm just going to cut mine off because she is nice and ready to go. And then we're going to burn the end. And see, that one doesn't really stick out, so we're good to go on that one. And that is it. That is how you make a wristlet. You can maneuver this around if you want. It is not stretchy string, but you can move it around to make it more round. And that is it. That is how you make a wristlet keychain using silicone beads. I do have all of these supplies listed on my site if you guys need to check those out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I do go live all the time packing orders on TikTok if you guys want to come join and see your order get packed. Thank you for watching.